Today we're moving on to chapter 5, so we're going to do lesson 5.1, and this is over ratios and rates. We're starting off with some vocabulary. Our first vocabulary word is ratio. So a ratio is going to be a comparison of two quantities using division. You've done a lot with ratios in the past, but most of the time when you deal with ratios in your previous grades, you wrote it like that. So now that you're in 7th grade, you're growing up, you're learning new things, we're going to start doing ratio as division. So instead of writing it like that, we will write it like that, 2 divided by 3. Our second vocabulary word is rate. Rate is a ratio of two quantities with different units. And so like miles per hour. Miles and hours are different units, and so that's called a rate. Our last word is unit rate. So that's going to be a rate with a denominator of 0. So how much for 1 is what we're asking. So if we're talking about miles per hour, if I said I went, let's say, 60 miles in 2 hours, that would be a rate. But if I said 30 miles per hour, that's going to be my unit rate because it's per 1 hour. My denominator is a 1, so this is a unit rate of this rate. So let's talk about some ratios. If we remember, ratio is a comparison of two quantities using division. So we're going to be comparing open to closed eyes. So we're going to look at this picture over here of this classroom, and we're going to count how many students have open eyes and how many students have closed eyes. So I can see that this student's eyes is open, this student's eyes is open, and that student's eyes are open. So we have 3 open eyes, 2, 1, 2, 3 people with closed eyes. So it's 3 to 3. We're going to simplify that. So it's 1 to 1, which actually just simplifies to 1. So for every 1 open eye, we have 1 person with closed eyes. Now let's compare open eyes to total class. So we counted before, we know that we have 3 students or 3 people with open eyes. So we've got 3 open eyes to our total class. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people total. So it's going to be 3 to 6. Again, we're going to simplify that. 3 and 6 are both divisible by 3. So that simplifies to 1 over 2. So for every 1 person that has open eyes, there's 2 people total in the class. Our third situation is students to teachers. So I can see that these 5 people are a little bit smaller, so I'm going to call those our students. And this 1 person is bigger, so we'll call that person our teacher. So I said 5 students because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to our 1 teacher. So 5 students per teacher. That's as simple as it goes, so that's going to be our answer. We're also going to be talking about rate. So rate is what 2 quantities are we comparing? So we're looking over here. This is at a Speedway or some kind of a gas station. They have their pops for sale. Look over here. What is our 2 quantities that we're comparing? Hopefully you're thinking dollars per ounce, because that's what that is. It's going to be $1.29 per 20 ounces for that first one. So dollars per ounce. The last cup is $1.59 for 44 ounces. So I want you to write that ratio just like how they have it written here. So go ahead and try that problem. Hopefully you got that it should be a dollar sign, 1.59 over 44 ounces. That's what you should have written because that looks like what they have written over here. Now I want you to go ahead and write the ratios of these two things. Make sure that you simplify if you can. So pause the video and try those out. Hopefully these are the answers you got. So we put 144 over 2, and then that simplifies to 72 over 1. That second problem, we're putting 207 over 9, and that simplifies to 23 over 1. So these are acceptable ratios, but when we are looking for our unit rates, we're going to simplify our denominator for 1, and then that's going to be our unit rate. So these are our rates, but this second part of it is our unit rate. So let's go ahead and transition to talking about our unit rates. So what I want you to do is try to solve this problem. I want you to find the unit rate for each cup to figure out what the best value is. So if you could drink the entire pop, which one would you get to save money? Pause the video and try that out. If you're stuck or confused on what to do, this is the answer for that first cup there. So we're taking 1.29 divided by 20. And if I put that into my calculator, this is my answer. And so that's going to be my unit rate. For every 1 ounce, it costs me a little bit more than 6 cents. So pause the video and try out those last two if you have not done so already. And then here's your answers for the bottom 2 cups. So for that second cup, we should only be paying about 4 cents per ounce. And then for this last cup, it is about 3 cents per ounce. So we are trying to figure out what the best value is. And if you can drink 44 ounces, that cup's going to be the best value. But obviously, if you're only going to drink 20 ounces, that's going to be a better value than that. So let's go on to our last problem. I want you to find the unit rate for each item below to figure out what the best value is. So go ahead and try it out for these Old Spice body washes. See which one's better. Is it better to save with 2 at once or better to get 1 individually? And here's your answers for these 2 problems. So if you just bought 1 bottle, it's going to cost you $2.97. because that's what it is over here. If you get the save with 2 at once, you're paying $3.49 per bottle. So it's over 50 cents more per bottle, or $1 total if you get the save 2 at once. And so that's why it's really important for you guys to learn these unit rates, because it tells you what the best value is. So when you're at Walmart, for example, you don't get ripped off by false advertising. So we've got a couple of homework problems to do today. You're going to be in your textbook on page 167. You're going to do problems 13 through 20, and then you're going to do 23 and 24. These are all problems over finding the ratio, and then it's going to transition into finding the unit rates. If you have any questions, send me an email.